Go the hole. Oh my God! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Golf Collective podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and today's going to be a little bit of a different day. It's just me, and I figured this would be a cool opportunity to talk about myself, my mental game in the game of golf, and go over a round I had a couple of days ago where I felt like I had some of the best mental stability throughout a round of golf that I've had in a while, if not ever. And it led me to having a shot on the 18th tee to shoot my best and lowest round in my life. So today we're going to kind of go over that round, what I was thinking, what I was feeling, the shots I hit, and just break down shot by shot, hole by hole, what I was thinking, what opportunities I had, what opportunities I missed, and, just talk about golf as a mental game because it's 90% mental and 10% performance. So let me switch over scenes here. So this round I played at Furman Golf Club, which is attached to Furman University. If you don't know where that is, it's just north of Greenville, South Carolina, which is about 30 minutes south of where I live and work. And I played this course from the one-ups, which was about 6,600 yards. I don't know if you can see that here. 6,600 yard course. I'm currently a 6.9 handicap. So I got about 8 shots on the handicap index here. And slope and rating, I'm not sure if it says it on there. Yeah, okay, so it's a 71.7, 131. So played this one from the one-ups, which I typically do. And I also was a little late from the putting green to the first tee, so the other 3 guys in my group had already hit. So kind of just ran up, hopped on the tee box where they were and fired away. I played with two guys and a high schooler. One guy was, walking with his cart. He was a pretty good golfer. He birdied the first hole. And then the other 2 people I was with was a dad who actually was a pro at one point, turned pro, played on the Golden Bear Tour, which I don't know much about, but he told me he lived in Jupiter, Florida, and played on that tour after college. He actually turned down an offer from the University of Florida to play golf there because he did not want to sit his first year. So played with him and then his son, who was a sophomore, junior in high school, and had just picked up the game pretty recently and was actually very good for only have been playing for about 10 months consistently. It does help having your dad, who's an ex-pro mini tour guy, but I was very impressed. So, typically when I go out and play, and this is not me bragging or saying I'm the best golfer in the world because I'm definitely not, but I'm typically playing with higher handicaps, anywhere from the 12 to 20, 25 range. So usually when I play with better golfers, it's with Matthew and Carter or my dad or Carter's dad, guys who are actually all better than me. Carter and Spencer are both scratch. My dad's a 2. Matthew and I are pretty much the same, but he's been hitting it a little bit better than I have in the last 6 to 10 months. So this was kind of a new setting for a public golf round that I played. It was nice to, I think the younger kid had a birdie look on one. The guy who was walking made birdie, and the dad had actually not played in quite a while, and tapped in a par putt on the first hole. So getting to play, with the caliber of players that were probably better than me, was definitely a switch up and definitely made me kind of lock in a little bit because, I'm not a bad golfer. I'm not a great golfer. But, typically I'm out there waiting on guys to hit, and we played the front 9 in about 2 hours. So pace of play was perfect. It was cool seeing, these guys hit, clean drives, good approaches, good putts, having birdie looks left and right. So the company I was with was higher caliber and it made for a round that It was a little more focused, I think. So it definitely helped my mindset going in, not having to wait on other people or wait on tee boxes because, we were actually moving pretty well for a Saturday afternoon. And yeah, so I think just being with the group I was with automatically helped my mental game. And then I also came into it with, little to no expectations of what my round was going to be. I had not played golf, I think, according to my handicap index, I had not played golf since June 28th. And this round was July 28th. No, that is right. I had not played since June 28th. And this round was Saturday. Today's August 11th. So the 9th. So over a month, I had not touched a club, hadn't gone to the range, haven't played, haven't putted, chipped, anything, in my apartment, around my apartment. So I had no expectation. I honestly wasn't even going to play golf. That day, I was just sitting in the house, and it was nice out for the first time. It wasn't, pouring down rain or 110 like it had been. So no expectations. On the range, I was hitting some good shots. I think I shanked one, just getting a little quick. And my only swing thoughts going into the day were tempo, and I wanted to make sure my hands were dropping before I started rotating my body. Something I started to do about 2 months ago was just get a little quick with my body, which made my swing quick, trying to catch up to the hips, and I was hitting them all over the place. So last round I had played was a month ago. I shot 77, a really good 77, and I think just coming into it, not even thinking I was playing that day and having no expectations was another key to having a clean mindset onto what was going to happen on the course. So, my rules for the day were, have fun. It was super nice out. I was excited to play. Wasn't putting any pressure on myself, and I was in good company. So those couple things added up to something special. So I think what I want to do is just walk you hole by hole, give you, my yardages, my thoughts on what club I was picking, decisions I were making, what was kind of happening around me. Just talk about the mental aspect to why I think this round was so good for my mental golf game. So I've got the Google Earth up here for you, as well as my Grint screenshot here of my round. As you can see, there's no circles at all, but there's also no double boxes, which is big for me. If you listen to an earlier podcast with me and Matthew, a goal I had for the year was to shoot a round without a double bogey. I actually did that earlier in the year in May. I had a round at the beach with Carter and my dad and Spencer. No double bogeys. I had like an 8-footer on 18 for bogey that I made. So I completed that goal. So that was kind of out of my mindset. Was like, okay, like that's good. Like you know what that feels like to have a round without a double. Making good par saves, good bogey saves. And so you can see on the scorecard here, no doubles, but a lot of birdie opportunities that just couldn't capitalize on. So hole number 1, tee boxes. This is kind of a little golf house here. This is putting green, and then the first tee box here to the right, player right, of the putting green. So I as I said earlier, I was late to the tee box, which is mind-boggling considering they're literally right next to each other. I just wasn't paying attention. Was just hitting some putts because I hadn't putted in a month and a half. So first tee, there's the back tee there. And we teed it up from about a couple paces on from the back. Prevailing winds on this course are coming out of the almost due north. So all your holes that are going south are downwind. Everything back north is directly into the wind. It was blowing about 15 miles an hour that day. So I got up, driver, hole is, it says 391 on the card for this tee box. and I smoke one. Perfect little baby draw right up the middle of the fairway. And this fairway kind of tilts down and right, player right. So everything kind of funnels down in this area. I caught this one good. I believe I had... let me preface this too. My rangefinder completely busted. So I have no rangefinder, and the carts do not have GPSs. So I'm playing the entire round strictly off sprinkler heads. They have front middle numbers. I actually don't know if they're front middle or front back. I was playing everything off the front number. I had pin locations and a pin sheet too, so I was playing everything off the front sprinkler head number, and then pin sheet. I think I got a couple yardages from the other guys on a couple holes where I was a little astray, but other than that was purely pacing off shots and playing off a pin sheet. So that was kind of new. My back nine on the round that I lost my sprinkler head, which was the last round I played, I think I shot even. So I think the less noise in my head, the better. Not knowing exactly where the pin is, exactly how far that bunker is, from where I am, or the trees or whatever. I think that kind of calmed my mind. So, add that to the checklist of things that kind of helped me out with this round. So this green, kind of 2-tier, pin was in the back. I think I had 60 yards to the front. Pin was in the back. I think I played it a 75-yard shot. So let's Google Earth might give me trouble. So pin was here. I played it I probably played it here. So 75-yarder from that tee box. That does not seem like a realistic number there. I don't know if this Google Earth is going to work for me, but we're just going to... I think I hit it about 310. Yeah, so 310-yard drive, downwind. Okay, I don't carry it that far. I'm a 275 carry guy. But I hit it high. Nice draw downwind. Left myself with a short wedge. I hit some wedges on the range just to get some feel, but I hadn't played in a while, and my perception was a little off. So I absolutely smoked this thing. I hit it way over the green. Like, I'm talking, if there were people in the tee box, I was gonna have to wait for them to finish hitting because I was that far. I was kind of way back in here. So hit my second shot long, chip back just barely on the green, 2-putt bogey. So after that hole, the guy walking made a birdie. Other two guys made a par. I made bogey, and I wasn't upset with it. I think I knew that I had just hit a bad approach shot. I hit it way too hard. I was trying to hit a 3/4 56. Got a little farther back in my swing than I wanted to, and forgot it was downwind. It still played a factor and kind of blew it 25 yards over the green. So I was okay with getting up and down for bogey after smoking a wedge shot, and starting one over is it's definitely territory where I am normally. So one over after one. Next hole is par 5, dogleg left, tee box. We played it about in the middle right here. Again, wind is coming straight down the number 1 hole, and I kind of leave one up in the air for a little too long, and got smoked by the wind, and ended up under this tree right about here. Hit the trees coming down, so just knocked it straight to the ground. Lucky to find it. There's a fence here along this road. I was worried it got a little too close to it or would have gone over, but we ended up being okay. So drive only went about 230 after all that. And then, knowing it's a par 5, I was okay laying up. So I just took an 8-iron. I was lucky to have full swing ability and vision to the fairway because I was almost at the end of the trees. Excuse me. So I just took an 8-iron and hit one out right at this little kind of cut in the fairway. So 8-iron to there, and that left me with about 120 to a front pin, which for me is a full, like, kind of swing hard 52 degree. And I was okay with that because I had a little bit of helping wind. I knew if I hit a draw into the wind, it was going to help it kind of push down a little bit farther. So I hit a nice full wedge, and hit it left of the pin. Pin was about here, dead center in the middle, and I hit it up just on the green left. So lucky to cover the bunker. 2-putt par, and I felt good. I felt good with a nice recovery. You know, I got some luck off the tee. Put myself back in the fairway and got up and down with a birdie look. So kind of bouncing back after the first hole, get a birdie look on the second hole. Was about a 25 triple breaker. I was on the wrong side of the pin, but you know, I was okay with that. I was happy. You know, the kid had another birdie look that he just barely missed. Dad as well had a birdie putt, and the guy walking made a par. So, you know, we're in good company here, playing some good golf. Next hole is a tricky hole. It's kind of short, but there's, you know, a lot of trouble up towards the green. I've played here 4 or 5 times, and I typically take a 4-iron off the tee, which I also chose to do here. The 1-ups played about, let's say, 10 paces off the back of this tee box right here. So took a 4-iron, and I just realized you guys couldn't see. So there's the tee there. Took a 4-iron and kind of hit a weird, I think it was a toe ball is what it was. So I hit a weird toe ball, went about 200 yards, just in front of this clumping of trees. So totally fine, good miss in the fairway. Nothing much to say about the tee shot other than just kind of hadn't swung in a while. You know, longer irons try to get a little funky with them. I don't try to, but I do. So it's left me a little odd approach shot. Not an odd approach shot. It just felt like a weird shot. So I moved on from that. This was a back pin. There's a crazy little mound on this green, kind of in this back area. Pin was right here in the back. So from about here, I had 135 middle. That's kind of what I played it. Wasn't super gusty at the moment. So I took a wedge. I believe I took a wedge. No, I hit 9-iron. I think I played a one, like a kind of a bunty 9, just to make sure I covered the bunker. And I hit this mound, but on the wrong side of it. So I knew if I hit the mound on the green, it'd kick down into kind of the flat area, right here. Hit the wrong side of the mound. Hit it kind of back here on this side, left side, and kicked just into the thicker rough behind the green. So short side of myself with a pretty difficult chippy wedge shot to get up and down for par. Ground was pretty bare, not a lot of grass, pretty firm. So I tried to take a 52 degree and hit one into the mound and kind of let it like bounce on and just roll out. Caught it thin, ended up hitting it across the green. It just barely rolled off. This is like a big false front into a grass little valley. So I was a little frustrated with the chip, but I was like, you know, it's fine. I've got a pretty straightforward back up the hill chip. Took the 52 again, and hit it like 4 feet, and made the bogey. So, you know, in that hole, I was okay with the tee shot. You know, it was a good miss. Wedge shot or 9-iron into the green was just, you know, a little overdrawn. You hit the wrong side of the hill. Bad chip, hadn't chipped in a while. But getting up and down, you know, to save the bogey was the big kicker here. So we're now 2 over through 3, and I'm feeling good. I'm hitting solid irons. I still have that good swing thought from the drive on 1. Putting is good. A tap in par on 2, make a solid 4 or 5 footer on 3 to save bogey. So next hole here is number 4, a par 3. This hole is also pretty straightforward. You're kind of back with a crosswind coming down across this way. So typically I hit a draw at the moment, and I'll play one kind of out to the right side of the green. If the wind takes it. If it doesn't, I'm either just off the green or on the green with the putt. So from back here, I remember they gunned it for us. So all the par 3s I was getting yardages because they had lasers. So pin was dead center. We had 196. So we were about right here on this shot. I took a 7-iron. It is downhill. So downhill, probably 5 yards. Was playing a 190 number, hoping it would just kind of hit and roll out a little bit. Hit it solid, was drawing right at the pin. Came up short of the pin, but on the green, and I had about a 25-footer up the hill for birdie. Didn't make it, but I, left it 6 inches out to the right. So good par there. Nice recovery from a bogey. Once again, just hitting a solid shot and having an easy tap in par. Was good. So, I'm feeling good. Other guys are playing well. I think the guy walking had a nice sand save from there. He was in that left bunker, got up and down. Other 2 guys made par. So, we're just hanging out, talking about life. I was asking the kid about school and high school golf. They just kind of moved to an area where I grew up. So they're asking me about clubs and, people I knew down there, coaches and stuff like that. So just good conversation overall, not really talking about the golf we're playing, but just talking about the game, which is, what I love because I'm so indulged and it revolves around my entire life. So next hole is a kind of a shorter par 4, dogleg right. This hole, I'm going to put my design hat on and go back to work for the day. It needs a good clearing up here by the tee box. The tee box goes like under this tree, and the back tee back here, you basically have no good angle. Like if they set the tee box up anywhere on this right side, like the angle at which you want to hit your tee shot, if you put the 300-yard dogleg there like we do, it's not great. Let me center that a little better. So you're cutting right into the trees there, trying to hit a tee shot. So you have to tee it up as far left as you can, which thank goodness the tee markers are usually set up. You can kind of see those little dots. So teeing it up there. I take 3-wood off this tee because driver can kind of get away from you, especially with those trees kind of right there in your face. So I hit a 3-wood. It actually clipped a limb. I hit a little too far. It came off the face a little right. Clipped a limb. Ended up just past this kind of fairway curve, the curve in the mow line there. I believe I had a full wedge, 125, 130 in to a center pin. So it was about right in there. Oh, you guys can't see this. So about right in there for my next shot. Hit a solid wedge shot, hit a little long, which left me with a kind of super fast downhill putt. This green, everything up here is like pretty tall mounding, and it all kind of funnels down to the front here. Crazy steep face bunker, and pin was about in this area. So I landed about back here. Did not judge the putt right at all. It broke probably 4 feet more than I thought it would, and I knew it would. I just didn't play it the right way. Kind of a mental lapse just on reading the green, knowing what it does, and not playing to the break. So I had a tricky little 5-footer for par back up the hill, but drained it again. So now we're 2 over through what hole is this? 5? Yeah. 2 over through 5. Feeling good. So yeah, you can see here on my scorecard that I've hit last 3 greens, or sorry, the last 3 fairways. So feeling good. Getting a little lucky once again, hitting the tree off the drive, but we'll take it anywhere we can. So 2 over through 5. We've got our second par 5 on this front 9 here. I keep clicking this thing right here. So tee box is under this tree, and then dogleg right. Pretty gettable if you hit a good tee shot. Typically, you have a good angle to clear this bunker with a drive, and then 187 yards in downhill into the wind. So probably playing about 190, 195, which is a solid 7-iron for me. So I usually pull driver. If I get into trouble, I can get back to the fairway, or it's pretty open on this course, which is nice. So you can have some angles to the green if you're kind of offline. So I stood up and ripped driver, and I hit probably the biggest slice I've hit in a long time. I started it. I was trying to play a cut, kind of started up the middle and let it cut around this bunker. I think I just blocked it a little bit, so it started at the bunker and was slicing into the wind too. Wind was pushing kind of down this way, so slice it came all the way over here into the middle of this fairway. Luckily, this isn't really the landing zone for that hole, and nobody was on the hole. So big slice. Playing partner hit into this bunker, so he had shot it, and he had 212, 210, and I think I was 10 yards behind him. So I had about 225 from the middle of the other fairway, which is totally fine. Easily, I can get it right at it. These trees are kind of lower. The hole goes back downhill. One plays uphill. This hole plays downhill. So I had a clean look at the green, which was nice. So no worries there about the tee shot. Let that one go pretty quickly, and picked up a 4-iron. Hit kind of too much of a draw. Again, the wind hitting it back across the other way. The wind kind of pushed it a little. Ended up in this front left bunker. So in the bunker here, pin is in this back left location. Flat bunker was kind of closer to this little lip, kind of in this area. So I didn't go directly at the bunker just because I was farther back, and if I left it short, I didn't want to be in the rough, and I didn't want to risk going long, and everything kind of runs off the back of the green. So hit it out to the right, try and get myself a 20-footer for birdie, and I did that. So hit a solid bunker shot, came out just like I wanted it to, stopped pretty quickly, and had a 20-footer kind of uphill, downhill putt for birdie. I got a good read from the ex-pro guy. He was about 4 feet behind me, and I was super confident over this putt. It wasn't doing much. I had the uphill advantage. The only worry I had was not putting it too far because it would trickle and run off the back of the green. So speed control was my only focus there. I was okay with a tap and par, but I felt like I could make it. So I get up, hit the putt. It starts right on my line. It looks good for the first 3-4 feet, and it hits a massive rock in my line that I couldn't see. It was like one of those clear, I don't know, like those clear stones you find at the beach sometimes. It's like glass that's almost just roughed up by the ocean so much that it's like smooth. It was like a tiny piece of that, so I didn't really even see it. I didn't really even check my line to see if there's anything in it besides like any major divots. And it hit that rock and like just completely took all the speed out of the putt. Came up about 2 feet short. So that kind of made me mad, but at the same time, that was like in my control, and I didn't focus in enough to check my line and, cross all the T's and dot all the I's before hitting the putt. So it was on me, to clean my line out, and I hit a solid putt. I stroked it just like exactly how I wanted to. I'm really trying to take my hands out of my putting and get my shoulders, moving the putter itself. Hit it solid, started it right on line. The pace was going to be good, and just, unfortunate event. A little unlucky. You get lucky like I did on 2, and you get unlucky in situations like that. So walked away with a tap in par once again. And we're 2 over through 7, right? No, through 6, sorry. 2 over through 6. Which, by the way, I want to point out, that's a 473-yard par 5, which that doesn't seem right to me. So I'm going to just double measure to, so it says it's about right, 480. So that's kind of just a short par 4, or sorry, long par 4, short par 5 in my industry, but we'll take that. It's a good look at birdie. If you hit the green in 2 or even in 3, if you're hitting it in 3, it's a pretty short chip. So totally fine. Not really even thinking about that hole anymore, and step up to the next one. So this hole, number 7, par 4, tee shots uphill. Your approach is kind of significantly downhill. Straightforward, take a driver when it's downwind. And so like it's, plays almost the same as number 1. So took driver, halfway up this tee box, and did the same thing I did on the last hole, just mega slice. But it was downwind, so I got a little help with the wind there. Ended up basically in the same spot, short of the tee boxes on this 6th hole. So I actually paced it out. I walked from about here all the way to this cart path to get an idea about how far it was, kind of what the elevation change was. I had 140 to the center, 145. So right there is my second shot into this green. All these trees kind of in the middle were pretty tall, and they're sitting kind of, if you imagine, like if, this is me, you're going up, there's these tall trees, and you're back down to the green. So I had to try and find a gap. I found my line from ball to the pin of where I wanted to hit it, and then tried to just finagle a line through those trees. They're all like kind of dead up top, so I could get over them. I couldn't get over them all the way, but I definitely had lanes to hit through. They're pretty wide. So took a pitching wedge because I knew it was back downhill, and I didn't want to be long because it's pretty steep and short-sided of the pin. Pin was front left. So took a wedge, hit it pretty fat, nailed the cart path. I saw it bounce 20 feet in the air, and landed about 3 feet off the green into a deep swale. So it's pretty steep right here. So again, took a 52 degree like I did on the 3rd hole. Had a chip kind of up the hill, break into the left on the front left pin. Almost made it. It was literally inches from the cup. So walk away with a tap in par there, and super thrilled about, although I hit the cart path on my approach shot, it was still nice mentally to walk and find my line, find the yardage, not sitting there with the lasering every tree and trying to figure out how far I am with the handheld device, but actually, taking the time to walk the course without a club in my hand and figure out a yardage. I didn't hit the shot I wanted to because I caught it heavy, but it was on line of where I wanted it to be, and walked away with a par, the right way. So that was great. At this point, the guy walking left. He had to leave, so it's just down to me and the dad and son. Sorry, I'm just checking my time here. So it was down to us three playing the last couple holes. Next hole is par 3. This hole always gets in my head. It's always a back pin to a super, super steep drop off. It always gets me mentally. It's normally a wedge, with a big crosswind. So I took pitching wedge. Was okay with being, middle of the green to the front side. So I was kind of trying to hit this gap, this 15-yard gap. And just 2-putt and get out of there. So hit wedge. It came up right just short on the green. So pretty far putt. That's easily a 60, 70 footer. For birdie, misjudged the break again. Had an 8 to 10 footer for par, and missed that as well. So 3-putt bogey. Not ideal, but just a bad first putt. I don't think it was a bad shot off the tee. I think I could have gotten closer, but I didn't want to flirt with the really bad part of the hole off the back. So kind of first real mistake, aside from a bad shot on one, to lead myself to a bogey. I think the bogey on 3 was just unfortunate ball conditions of which my ball ended up in, just being super concrete, barely any grass coming out of it chip. This one was just a misread and misjudged speed putt. So walk away with a bogey there. I'm 3 over through 8. I'm not too mad about it. Now I just want to play 9, post a solid score on the front. So this hole, 415, back into the wind. Everything kind of funnels right in the fairway, down. Right side's a lot lower than the cart path and left side. Pretty straightforward hole. You can take 3-wood, take driver. You can honestly even take a 5 or 7 wood and have a 6, 7 iron in. So I hit driver, and I hit a low, gross, just duck hook. Was lucky enough that it wasn't too much of a hook. The wind was kind of right at it. Ended up just past this kind of group of trees right here. And I believe I had there was a sprinkler head right there that was 210. No, that's not right. I might have ended up in front of this tree because I hit 6 iron. Yeah, so I must have ended up. Geez, that's a really bad drive. Well, that's in the world now. 230, snap hook. Got 30 feet off the ground, dead in the wind. This rough was pretty thick, so it's probably what held it up, but still gross nonetheless. So I had 210 in, back into the wind, downhill. It was sitting up. The grass was kind of folded over and down grain. So I knew I literally had just watched Major Cut Series with Grant and the Bryan Bros. And Wesley was in the same spot where he was sitting on folded grass and it was laying down grain where he was going to be hitting it, and caught just an absolute flyer. And so, I had that in my mind. I was like, okay, that's, this is probably going to be a flyer. If it's not, pins in the kind of in the low right. So I'm okay being short left and just have a kind of a straightforward chip. So took a 6, knowing it was into the wind, kind of hit another big draw, and ended up, just here right at the cart path. So ended up right there, chipped it to, I don't know, I think it was about 20 feet. Missed the par putt in the front with back-to-back bogeys. So, scorecard here, bogeyed 1, 3, 8, and 9. Missed the fairway on 2, 6, 7, 9. So, overall, 40 on the front. That's not bad. I think my scoring average is like 81 and a half, 82 and a half, something like that for this year and last year. So that's about average for me, a little below average. 40-40, being an 80. So I was frustrated with the back-to-back bogeys, but I was happy that, I was on a good stretch of pars as well. So, at this point, I'm feeling good. The weather's great. It's like 76, a little breezy, just some strong gusts. Just having a good conversation, meeting new people. I was talking to the dad about a local coach in Atlanta that he could get his son in with to get some lessons. He's taking it more serious now. I'm not talking about the golf, just talking about golf. So at this point, I'm excited to get to the back nine. I like the back nine more than the front nine. It's a little more challenging in terms of tee shot accuracy and elevation change. And some of the bunkering is a little harder too. But I'm excited to play the back, and the other people actually left. So dad and son had to go. They were actually in town just for the weekend, going back to family. So they left. And as I drive up to the 10th tee by myself, I literally can see a group in the fairway, on the green, on 11 tee, and in 11 fairway. All foursomes. Except the group in front of me was a threesome. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this could be the longest 9 holes of my life. Like I was honestly like, I was like, great. Like, do I go home now too? Like I could, easily just ask for a 9-hole refund or a 9-hole rain check. Or I could play through, and like I had plans that night to hang out with some buddies. So I didn't want to, be getting home at 8:30, 9 o'clock. But overall, I decided to stick it out because, I chose to play golf and I wanted to play golf. So the ranger comes up to me after I hit my tee shot on 10, and I was like, hey, like everybody else left in my group, like, how are we looking up there? Like, are we on pace? Can I skip? And he's like, everyone's on pace. I just checked with the 4 groups in front of you. They're all tracking well, so there's not really anything I can do. I don't want to send you up because there's groups everywhere. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. I'll throw on some music and enjoy my back nine, to myself. So that was about right here, that conversation. I had just hit my 4-iron about as far as I could into the fairway, 235 downwind. Just solid, dead straight, 1 foot of draw. Just smoked the 4-iron. So I get down, I'm sitting next to my ball for a minute. There's 3 guys on the green in front of me. So I'm just waiting. They leave, they get to the tee box. I can see them waiting on the tee box. So I go ahead and hit. Second shot ends up left edge of the green. Pin is middle right. So I end up about here after I think I had a 9-iron or wedge, to about there, and then have basically the width of the green to putt this ball, another 60-footer. This hole, unlike the 5th hole where I misread it and had like a kind of a scary 6-footer for par, I remembered how much this hole actually breaks from where I was. It's kind of 2-tier. You can kind of see the shadow actually. So this is like a lower tier. Everything runs off the front, and then this is kind of an upper tier. So with the pin being about there, I had to put this way out. It took this first slope down and right, and then all funneled back towards the front. So judged it perfectly. Came about 3 feet short and above the hole, but it was straight downhill, par putt, and drained it. So start the back off with a par, and as I'm tapping that in, the other group in front of me still hasn't hit. So I was like, okay, like it's 3 guys. I would rather like play in a foursome, let's meet some other people, and instead of waiting on a threesome who's waiting on 3 foursomes. So I roll up to the tee box here. They're playing whites. I choose to just stay with the same team I'm playing, so it's not any discrepancy in my score. And this is a group of Japanese guys, like pure, like born in Japan. They're here on visas working, which is sweet. I think 2 of them were chemical engineers. The other guy was an accountant. The 2 chemical engineers, they could speak English, but it was kind of broken and a little hard to understand with their accents. But the accountant guy had a lot better English, I imagine, because he probably talks to a lot more people for his job. So talking with them on the tee box for a couple minutes, asking them what they do. They ask what I do, and I'm like, well, I work for Golf Course Architect, and so they're asking me all kinds of questions, translation wise. They're like, okay, architect, like to them that's like buildings and stuff, and then like golf course, like construction makes more sense in their eyes. So I was kind of explaining how the design of the golf course, how that translates into the construction. So super, super interested in what I did. It's fun to kind of teach people and tell them what I do and who I work for. It's always fun because I still don't believe that it's real, working for Tom Fazio. So talking to them, they hit their tee shots first. They're not bad. They weren't bad golfers. Like they all hit some good shots. Made some putts. Hit some solid drives. They just don't play a lot. I asked them. They said they play 2-3 times a year. So for that, I think they were actually pretty good. So they hit their drives. One hits kind of a low duck hook left. One slices one high right. Other guy hits in the rough. And I get up. This is a little overgrown image. I don't think the trees are actually that far in, but that tee shot is narrow. So you have to kind of play a draw just to even get one out there. And this bunker is in play all day, every day. If you hit it, come up short or whatever. Again, you can kind of see its correlation to 1. It's downwind. And I absolutely nail this ball. Much better. It was better than my drive on 1, and I thought my drive on 1 was perfect. So absolutely hammer this ball, and the guys just start going nuts. Like it's like they were watching like a PGA event. Like they were like, oh, whoa, whoa, like clapping and like cheering, and I was like, whoa, like I don't think I've ever had anybody like cheer for my shot like that. So I hop in the cart and like kind of sit for a second because they're looking for their ball and trying to find their ball and hit out back into the fairway. And I kind of park under the trees right here, just waiting to get out of the way. The group over on the next hole and my new playing partners. And I just kind of sit there for a second. I'm like, I get really frustrated a lot of the times hitting bad tee shots, and I don't give myself enough credit when I do hit good tee shots. And by no means am I a good enough golfer to be that frustrated over hitting a bad shot or even a shot that's not terrible but not great. And it just kind of put a little perspective in my mind of like, hey, like you do this for fun. Like your job is golf, but you're not a golfer. Like give yourself some slack. Like these guys come out a couple times a year, bang the ball around, and they were having a blast. Like did not care if they chunked one or sliced one or topped one. Like they were just there to hang out and enjoy like the beauty of the golf course. Meet people like me, like I'm there to meet people like them. And they're just like enjoying each other's company, on their weekend. So I had about 3 minutes to kind of sit there and process, like, okay, like, yeah, that was a good tee ball. They all thought it was the coolest thing they've ever seen. And like, I'm not a professional. Like, why would I put so much pressure on myself when this round of golf has nothing to offer me aside from, enjoying my day, my Saturday, and, just getting to be outside. So got hit with a little perspective after that. And, started to just take a step back and enjoy, getting to meet these guys. They're from a completely different culture. They're on here on visa. They're not even citizens, and they're telling me how much they love this country and how much they enjoy, the area. They kind of all play golf, when they can with each other, and like they just enjoy getting outside. So that gave me a lot of perspective of like, hey, like this game is like this awesome crossover of where, like, no matter where you're from, who you are, like what you do, everybody goes out on Saturday and just hits a tiny white ball and hopes to shoot the lowest round they can. But most of us like do that and also put the pressure on ourselves to hit every shot perfect. And so from there I was like, well, like, sure, like I'm trying to shoot in the 70s and break 80 and lower my handicap, but I don't play enough. I haven't played in a month. Again, they come back to like I haven't touched a club because I kind of didn't have the desire to play, or it was like weather dependent or whatever. But all that to say, like I realized that I should just enjoy, getting to play with these guys who are from the other side of the world. Talk to them and just enjoy myself. So that's what I chose to do. I was already kind of doing it, but I kind of even took a step farther back to say, like, just hit the ball. Remember your 2 swing thoughts, just so you're not, losing golf balls and doing whatever. So, yeah, perspective kind of changed a little bit, and it got better. It got a lot better. So from here, I had 200 yards to the pin, front left pin. I believe I had a 6 or 7 iron. Kind of overdrew it a little bit, hit it into this front left bunker. Very, very steep bunker face here. Pin is in this front left kind of bowl area. If you hit it anywhere on the edge of this bowl, it all funnels straight to the pin. I'm on the face of this bunker. It's, I want to say, almost neck high. Hit a perfect kind of flop, splashy, 60-degree onto the back slope, rolled back towards the hole, and missed an 8-footer for birdie. So, oh wait, yeah, missed an 8-footer for birdie. So, good sandy par. Again, hit another fairway, another green and reg, just kind of rolling along. So again, hit a cool bunker shot. They were all like, great shot. Like that's, we don't have bunker play like that. Like that was really cool. And I don't even have bunker play like that. So I kind of pulled that one out of the hat, which was fun because I don't practice bunkers. I get in them every now and then, but just kind of do the same thing. And, I'm not out there practicing bunker shots. Not really practicing at all, honestly. Oh, we got to move a little. I'm talking way too much. We got to move faster. Next hole, straightforward, par 4, hit a drive, way down there. I think I had 100 yards in. Where are we in the map? Had 100 yards in, so hit it about there. Again, 300 yards. That one was actually hit really well. I'm carrying the ball a lot farther this round than I realized I was. Hit the 100-yarder, 25 feet, double breaker, missed it a foot right, tap and par. Can't complain. Let's go do it again. Bomb another drive. Left this one out to the right. Got knocked down by these trees. I'm kind of under the base of this tree right here. So I have a long way in. I think I could have hit 7-wood, honestly, but I didn't have a good stance. Yeah, 212. So I hit a 4-iron, kind of low, hits front of the green, skirts off to the right, skirts to the left of the bunker and the green. Again, take a 52. Actually, this was a 56 because I had to clear this bunker. Pin was right in the middle right there. 56 degree, chip it up 6 inches, tap it in. Wedge game was really, really good on this round. Another par. Could have easily been a bogey, double bogey from where my tee shot was. Next hole, back pin. It was 197. The guy gunned it for me. Took a 7-iron. Did not want to be long. Hit it dead center of the green. Uphill putt. Probably 18, 20 feet. Misread it a good bit. I had about 3 feet left for par. And it broke about half a cup. So that one was a little bit of slider. Dead center of the cup, though. Made it. Again, another par. Thrilled with that. Still not really thinking about the golf, just talking to these guys and hanging out. Enjoying myself. It was getting a little bit cooler as the sun was going down. I think I finished the round about 7:15. So next hole, last par 5 of the back 9. Uphill tee shot, downhill second shot to a green with a large front right bunker. Definitely gettable if you hit a good drive. What did I have in? I think the sprinkler head said 235 center. So I was downwind. I took a 7-wood. You can see it's kind of opened up around the green. Landing area is kind of up in here. Yeah, so that's about where I was. Took a 7-wood. I thought, hey, if like worst case scenario, I'm in the bunker on the right to a middle left pin, which is not even that bad because that gives you the most green to work with. If I hit kind of big swooping draw I normally do with that club, I've got plenty of room left of the green to work with, get up and down for a birdie or par. So I took a 7-wood. I chunked it, which was fine. It was kind of a funky lie. Ball was a little bit above my feet. Went into this bunker, and again, I'm up against this lip that is neck high to a pin that's 30 yards away. So I've got a treacherous 30-yarder that I have to hit high because I can't get out of the bunker any other way. So take a 60 degree, open it up. My stance is kind of front foot up, higher than my back foot. And I full swung at it. And it went straight up in the air. Plopped down, had about a 30-footer, looked for birdie. Was perfect like that. No better outcome. Guys were cheering again, like they were like ecstatic. They were like, that's, great shot. I was like, I don't normally do this. I don't know what's happening in the bunker with me. But we'll take that every day. Again, I think I missed this putt short by 3 or 4 feet. Just didn't give it enough gas. I didn't trust it. It was kind of in a volcano. So I was scared of going long and kind of back over towards this fringe on the left side of the green. But I left myself an uphill putt for par. So again, not thinking too much, just kind of seeing what I got, taking the right club and hitting it straight. Last par 3 of the back 9 was 176, I believe. Uphill, pretty significantly uphill. I hit 7-iron because I didn't want to be short. Pin was front right, kind of in another bowlish contour in the green. And this one hit kind of just off the green, bounced to right. So this right side, the front and the right it's honestly a turtleback green. So everything just funnels away. I was probably 6 paces off. Took a 56. No, took a 52. Hit another solid chip that rolled to 3-4 feet. Tapped it in for par. And then this is where it kind of set in that, like, hey, you're 4 over, and what is this? I don't know what that is. Sorry. Anyways, this is where the mental side set in, and I was like, hey, you're 4 over with 2 to play. Like, your best round ever is a 76, which is where you sit right now if you par it out. And I was like, if you birdie either of the last 2 holes, like, you will shoot the best round you've ever shot in your life. And I was, that crept in, head to the tee box on 17, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I actually could birdie the last 2 holes. Like, I'm hitting solid wedges. My putts are, I'm not missing any putts super wide or super short or long. Like, I'm having tap-ins. And so reality set in, and I was like, oh shoot, like this is doable. So we had a little bit of a wait on the 17th tee, which was fine. Like, just hanging out, talking with the guys. Get up with driver. Normally I hit driver kind of over this left bunker, dogleg left hole. And I hit it wasn't a snap hook. It was a good ball flight, honestly. Great ball flight. Just a little overdrawn and not played far enough to the right. This hole, everything kind of slopes right to left. This is like a big hill that slopes down to this tee box, and all this is pretty low below those bunkers. So I ended up kind of in this area right here after it hit the left edge of the fairway and kind of kicked left. The back left pin, and I had 135 to the middle. So that's basically exactly where I was to this hole. This tree was every bit of in my way. So I had to sit there and think, like, do I want to try and punch this low and let it roll up? Do I want to hit it kind of out to the right short of the hole? Do I want to try and hit a draw around the tree and hope I hit the green? Or if it doesn't draw, maybe I'll have a bunker shot. So that's the option I chose, was to take a pitching wedge and try and hit a draw to the back left pin. I hit it, came out solid. I didn't see the ball flight because of the tree. I kind of lost it in the cloud sky and tree line. Like, I didn't see where it went. And one of the guys was in the fairway to the right of me, and he like stood there, and I like turned to him. I was like, "Did you see the ball?" And he's like, "No." And then he said, "Oh, it went over." And I was like, "Oh no." He's like, "Left over." And I was like, "God!" Like, I smoked it. It hit hard, bounced way into the trees or whatever. So I got a little discouraged, and the thought of like 75 kind of left my mind. I was like, okay, like that's probably done, but like let's finish strong, like break 80. Like, that was my new mindset. So I hopped in the cart, drive up to the green, pin's about right here. And I start walking around trying, I thought my ball was over here. And one of the other guys had hit it kind of right in here, and he walked over and he goes, "Titleist?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Titleist 3?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's your ball right here." And his was like 2 feet to the left of mine. And I was like, whoa, like that was not bad at all. Like, I'm 10 paces off the green with a, I'm short-sighted, but like it's uphill with a backstop. So I have a chance to stop it or make it. I was like, oh, okay. Mindset, get up and down for par. Like, let's, dream's still alive. I took a 56, it's pretty steep, wanted it to stop quickly. Threw it up in the air a little bit, stopped just short, rolled, and I had a 2-footer for par, tap in par. And the dream's alive. Now it gets scary because I'm standing on the 18th tee. I'm 4 over, and all I have to do is make birdie to shoot 75, which would be my lowest round in my entire life. So it does get nervy at this point, like super nervy, because, very rarely do you have a chance to shoot the best round ever of your life. So tee box again, this place just needs a solid clearing plan, and it probably would only be about 30 trees. But some of these tee boxes are just so narrow, and they give you no option but to basically hit it into penalty. So dogleg left, 18th hole. Tee box is about where this, in between those carts. And as you can see, driver, taking out on the safe line, is just puts you directly at that bunker. So my goal is, take it left of it. I honestly was I set up for a cut, hoping that I would hit a draw with a cut stance and hit it straight. Not like overly done or anything, but just I've been hitting kind of big draws off the tee the last couple holes. So I kind of wanted to counteract that to just take the bunker out of play. I hit my drive, and it takes this line right here. Literally goes straight through the last kind of hanging branches of that tree line. Doesn't touch a thing. Like, trees are 90% air. I'm a full believer in that. It goes straight through the trees, and I was like, oh, like that might be okay. Like, I might be, like, even if I'm on the driving range, like I'm fine. I have a shot at the green. So totally fine. Watch the other guys hit. Drive out up in here, and I'm looking for my ball. And I didn't remember the course being this way, but it is OB staked all the way up the side of the driving range here. So basically, from the center of this bunker down the tree line and around right here is all white stake, OB. So I was like, oh my gosh, like if I hit it OB, that's basically over. 1 in 2 out drop. I'm hitting 3 from a weird spot over these trees, or punching back on the fairway, has double written all over it. So I'm looking for my ball just so I can, not lose a golf ball. I hadn't lost a golf ball all day, playing with the same one. And I see where my playing partner hit, and I had been hitting it about 30, 40 yards past him. So he was about here in these trees, and I was like, okay, let me go up a little bit farther and look for my ball. I kid you not, there is a white stake here. My golf ball is under this tree. This is probably the line of the white stake. And I am in between, I'm in this cluster, right there. And I'm oh, there's no way. So I have a swing, I clip branches on the back end a little bit, but I have a full follow through. I'm okay, dream is literally alive. I don't know how I'm getting this lucky, but I am. So this green is diabolical, Super Bowl. You can see this highlighted kind of area in the green is basically a bowl, and everything funnels down into the front. The pin is on this shelf, and there's not, but it can't be 15, 20 feet. 15 feet of flat, not even flat, just of barely pinnable space. So from these trees, I have 141 to the flag. One of the guys, he was just in the fairway here, so he shot it for me. I don't think they knew that I was this close, but they knew I was playing well. So he gave me the yardage. It's his 144 pen. And I was okay, I gotta go for it. I can't hit wedge, come up short, or risk getting in the bunkers if I hit a wedge kind of flary or whatever. So I take a 9-iron, and I choke down on it, hoping to hit it either in the bowl and it roll up, kind of take the spin off of it a little bit, or even just land it close to the hole. So take the 9-iron. I'm hitting off pine straw, kind of dirtish stuff, and I clip it just like literally if half a groove is a thing, I hit it half a groove low. And I could feel it in my hands. Like it just came off a little thin, and it was literally it was right at the flag. The starter, whatever, the closer starter guy was here with the cart. And when I drove up, he goes, dude, you literally were a foot from clipping the top of the flag stick. I hit it long, it hit the behind, basically flag stick length behind the hole, and then kicked down just short of this kind of shrubbish tree area. So at that point that's when I kind of knew it was over. Like I had a chip at it, but I'm short-sighted off a 6 foot steep hill, and it's just dirt, pine straw. Like I can't catch anything clean. So I'm over the green. I try to hit one into the hill and let it shoot up and kind of hopefully stop and roll. Blade it straight back over the green to the front. Chip one close and tap in for bogey. So all that to say is I honestly had one of the more solid rounds of my life when I didn't even really think about what was happening. I think my mental game was in a great spot, and it wasn't because I was like realizing I was playing like pretty decent golf. I think it was just because the people I was surrounded with like kept my mind off of my swings. So I think going forward, I think it's, you're not going to get that kind of playing conditions like every time you play. Like you're not going to get set up with, 2-3 scratch golfers. You're not going to get set up with a group of friends who, have a completely different lifestyle and background than you. Actually, that's probably possible, but I think in my case, it hasn't really happened that often. So to play with those guys, the Japanese guys was really cool. Just talking to them, getting to know, about them and their culture and what they do, and, not think about the golf and them. They cheered me on when I hit good shots, and I was, doing the same for them. But it was kind of just like a hit cheer talk. Like you forget about the shot after everyone's kind of like, oh, like nice shot, good putt, like whatever. And I think that's something that I'm taking away is having the goldfish mindset of like, give yourself 10 seconds to think about what happened. If you hit a good one, if you hit a bad one, and then move on. Like there's nothing you can do about a bad putt after you've hit it. There's nothing you can do about an OB ball once you realize it's OB. But you just gotta be able to step up and hit the next shot. I think that's something that I always put too much pressure on myself for is, beating myself up when I hit a bad shot, not giving myself credit when I hit good ones, and not thinking in the now, but thinking about like, oh, if I do this, I'll shoot X. If I wouldn't have hit that shot then I would have shot X. And, it's just all bad mental warfare that, all of us face and go through in our golf games. And, I think the takeaway for me is to just Ted Lasso it, be a goldfish, 10-second mindset, and just enjoy yourself. Have a swing thought or two to keep yourself in it. Keep your swing on a consistent path. And then just have fun. So, thank you guys for, sitting through. I did not think this was to be an hour, but I rambled on for quite a while, but thanks for sitting through, listening to, let me talk about, mental warfare in the golf game and walk through this round. I was super proud of how I played, but more proud about how I handled the head case that can sometimes arise after a bad hole. And I'm proud of not having a double bogey. I had a couple chances there where I didn't hit a good chip or, make a 4 or 5 footer. It could have easily been double. And, I think that's the next step in my game is to eliminate the doubles, and then just let the birdies come. And you know, we're trending in the right direction. Below a 7 handicap again, and the lowest I've ever been is a 6.5. I think I'm a 6.9 right now. So I think the goal of being a 5 handicap at some point next year is alive. So I hope you guys stay tuned, see how my golf game trends. Hope you enjoyed the solo podcast. I don't normally talk this much during the day. It's normally just me in the office. So there's probably more words than I said in 3 days, but hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you keep coming back. Thanks again, and this has been the Golf Collective podcast. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you like to watch your shorts or your podcast. I hope to find you there, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.